Now, eligible South Africans are now able to get a COVID-19 booster shot from today. The South African Health Products Regulatory Authority has approved Johnson & Johnson vaccine as a booster shot. It says single-dose J&J boosters should be administered at least 2 months after the first vaccination. Pfizer booster shots can only be given 6 months after the first shot. Those boosters will be available from the 28th of December. Khamusi Mutoti from the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority joins me now from Pretoria. A very good afternoon to you, Khamusi, and thank you so much for your time. So, why a gap? Why a 6-month gap for the Pfizer and a 2-month waiting period for the J&J?
Thank you very much for that specific questions. And indeed, the gaps that you have indicated for the J&J that is sitting at 2 months and the 6 months for the Pfizer community vaccines. And this is in accordance with the data that we have received as a South African Health Product Regulatory Authority. And we have done all the relevant assessment, and we're confident of the confirmation that we have made in terms of that indication that you have given of the two months for the J&J and also the 6 months for the Pfizer vaccines.
Khamusi, the booster shots are for 18-year-olds and above. What's the reason for leaving out the 12 to 17 cohort?
The 18-month, it's in accordance with the data that we have received from the applicant, and indeed we have done the assessment, and the data has demonstrated that those who have enrolled in the studies with the data that was submitted to the regulator, the confirmation is that the data has shown the relevant benefits for the 18 years and older patients or participants during that study.
Could you please just talk us through the data that you guys have been collecting, the data that informed the decision to have the J&J booster as well as the Pfizer booster, and I suppose particularly for the ages that they're allowed for? Just speak to us about what it is you guys were considering when you were coming to this decision.
Thank you very much again for that question. And indeed, in accordance with our legislative mandate in terms of the Act 101 of 1965, what we do as the regulator is we do an assessment of the data that will be submitted to us by the applicant or the manufacturer. And this data will be the safety data, efficacy data, and the quality data. And this is what we'll look at, and that will be what will inform our decisions. And this review that we do, the peer reviewing and also consultations with the relevant expertise that we have within and also outside SABRA, this is information that we'll look at for us to come to a final decision to confirm the relevant doses and also the relevant ages. And these decisions are also informed by information that we will have received at the South African Health Product Regulatory Authority.
And I'd be of the assumption that, the dosage itself, 0.5 milliliters, is, which is obviously the same as the doses that the public had been getting with the first J&J and the first and second Pfizer doses. All of that also is informed by the data that you guys have been collecting.
Yes, that will also be informed by the information on the data that the manufacturer applicant would have submitted. As you are aware, that for the manufacturer to get to that conclusion or to be able to package the information that will submit to the regulatory authority, they will have conducted the relevant clinical trials and the studies, and the studies would have demonstrated that indeed there is a confirmation of the relevant neutralizing antibodies that have been seen during that study that has been conducted. And for the same reasons, that's what would come to a conclusion for us to approve that specific dosing and also the age that will assign to that specific application.
How important was it for SABRA to ensure that these booster shots were approved as South Africa is going through this fourth wave of COVID-19, the Omicron variant, of course, spiking the infections in the country, albeit not really accounting for a lot of hospitalizations or deaths? How important was it for SABRA to ensure that as we go into the new year and as we continue to grapple with this fourth wave, that the booster shots were approved?
Thank you again. And indeed, as soon as we received the information or the request from the applicant, and what we have done is expedited the process. And the process, it means that we must get all the relevant expertise around the table, and we look at the information that we have. And what will constitute, it means that we must review the information, the data that has been submitted. And once we have reviewed that information, what we'll do is we'll peer review, we'll invite all the expertise to sit around the table and discuss the scientific information that we have. As you are aware, that the surprise mission, it's also to take decisions that are science-based. And what we would have done is we looked at information that is available for us to be able to make this decision so that the product is available for people to get the relevant vaccination, so that people are protected against this pandemic, the COVID-19 that is currently troubling not only South Africa but globally, as you are aware.
And just before I let you go, Khamusi, there are, of course, a number of vaccines globally now with the world dealing with this Omicron variant, a fourth variant of COVID-19. Can South Africans expect perhaps SAHPRA to approve any other vaccines other than Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer, or are these two the ones that we have in offer?
Thank you again for that question. Indeed, in accordance with our legislative mandate, if we receive an application for us to consider and register, if there's a convincing relevant data that confirm that indeed the product will offer the relevant the protection in terms of efficacy, and it's safe and it's of good quality, the SAHPRA will proceed to pronounce that product and register, so that we've got more products that are available into the country.